The world can be a beautiful place, filled with wonder and majesty, but it also harbors shadows, dark corners where logic and reason fail to penetrate. In these forgotten spaces, strange and unsettling events unfold, defying explanation and leaving us with more questions than answers. These are not tales whispered around a campfire designed to frighten and thrill. These are real events, etched in history, that continue to haunt us to this day. Join me if you dare, as we delve into 5 disturbing true stories, each one a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our world. The Ural Mountains of Russia, a place of stark beauty and unforgiving wilderness. It was here, in February of 1959, that a group of 9 experienced hikers embarked on a journey into the frozen heart of the mountain range. Led by Igor Dyatlov, a seasoned mountaineer, the group consisted of young men and women, all eager to test their mettle against the challenges of the wild. Their goal, to reach the summit of Otorten, a mountain shrouded in local legend and folklore. They were well equipped for the expedition, their backpacks laden with supplies and their spirits high with anticipation. Little did they know that they were walking into a mystery that would baffle investigators for decades to come. Their journey began without incident, their progress marked by laughter and camaraderie as they traversed the snow-covered slopes. But as darkness descended and temperatures plummeted, an unsettling silence fell upon the group. Weeks later, after an extensive search, the hikers' tent was discovered on the slope of Kholat Syakhl, the Mountain of the Dead. It was a scene of inexplicable chaos. The tent had been ripped open from the inside, as if in a desperate attempt to escape. Supplies and equipment lay scattered around the campsite, abandoned in haste. Most unsettling of all, there was no sign of the hikers themselves. They had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a trail of unanswered questions. Search parties scoured the mountainside, their efforts hampered by heavy snowfall and treacherous terrain. It was as if the mountain itself was conspiring to keep its secrets hidden. As days turned into weeks, hope began to dwindle. Then a gruesome discovery sent chills down the spines of even the most hardened investigators. The bodies of the hikers were found scattered across the mountainside, some partially clothed, others bearing horrific injuries. Some had fractured skulls, others severe internal damage, yet there were no external wounds to suggest a struggle. Their injuries were consistent with immense force, but the cause remained a mystery. Adding to the enigma, some of the victims' clothing was found to be radioactive. Theories abounded, ranging from avalanches to military experiments, but none could fully explain the strange circumstances surrounding their deaths. The Dyatlov Pass incident, as it came to be known, remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the 20th century. The truth, it seems, is lost in the frozen wilderness, buried beneath layers of speculation and unanswered questions. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass incident continues to fascinate and frighten. Was it a natural disaster, a military cover-up, or something altogether more sinister? Theories abound, ranging from infrasound-induced panic to encounters with indigenous tribes, or even something beyond our comprehension. But the truth, like the hikers themselves, remains lost to the unforgiving wilderness. The Dyatlov Pass serves as a chilling reminder of the power of the unknown, a place where even the most experienced adventurers can be caught off guard by the unseen forces that shape our world. The story of the Dyatlov Pass hikers is a testament to the enduring power of mystery. From the icy wilderness of the Ural Mountains, we travel to the bustling metropolis of Los Angeles, California. It was here, in the heart of downtown, that a young woman named Elisa Lam embarked on a journey of her own, one that would end in tragedy and leave behind a trail of unanswered questions. Elisa, a 21-year-old student from Canada, was visiting Los Angeles alone, documenting her travels in a blog filled with vibrant photos and introspective musings. She seemed to be enjoying her trip, exploring the city with a sense of wonder and adventure. However, beneath the surface of her cheerful online persona, there were hints of a darker struggle. Elisa had a history of mental health issues, and those closest to her knew that she could be prone to episodes of disorientation and paranoia. As days turned into weeks, Elisa's online updates became more erratic, her posts filled with cryptic messages and unsettling imagery. It was as if something or someone was preying on her mind, slowly unraveling her grasp on reality. On January 31st, 2013, Elisa Lam disappeared. Her last known movements were captured on the security cameras of the Cecil Hotel, a budget hotel with a dark and troubled past. The footage, which would later go viral, showed Elisa behaving erratically in the elevator. She pressed multiple buttons, seemingly at random, her eyes darting around as if searching for someone or something. At times, she stepped in and out of the elevator, her movements jerky and unnatural, her body language suggesting fear and paranoia. The footage was deeply unsettling, even more so because it offered no explanation for Elisa's behavior. Was she under the influence of drugs, experiencing a mental health crisis, or was something more sinister at play? The Cecil Hotel itself had a long and sordid history, rife with tales of suicide, murder, and unexplained phenomena. It was a place that seemed to attract darkness, a breeding ground for tragedy and despair. For weeks, Elisa's disappearance baffled investigators. Searches of the hotel and surrounding area yielded no clues, and her family clung to the hope that she would be found safe and sound. Then, on February 19th, guests at the Cecil Hotel began to complain about the water pressure. It was low, they reported, and the water itself had a strange, foul taste. Maintenance workers were dispatched to the roof to investigate the hotel's water tanks. It was there, in one of the large cylindrical tanks, that they made a gruesome discovery. Elisa Lam's body was found floating face up in the water, her clothes and belongings scattered around the tank. The discovery sent shockwaves through the city and beyond. How did Elisa Lam end up in a locked water tank on the roof of a heavily secured hotel? The circumstances of her death were as baffling as they were tragic. The official investigation into Elisa Lam's death concluded that it was an accidental drowning, her erratic behavior attributed to a bipolar episode. But many questions remain unanswered. How did Elisa, who was small in stature, manage to access the roof, which was locked and alarmed? And how did she get into the water tank, which was tall and difficult to reach? Theories abound, ranging from foul play to paranormal activity. Some believe that Elisa may have been the victim of a stalker, while others point to the Cecil Hotel's dark history as evidence of something more sinister at work. The Elisa Lam case serves as a chilling reminder that even in the heart of a bustling city, darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places. And sometimes, the most disturbing mysteries are those that are never truly solved. In the murky depths of America's waterways, a chilling pattern began to emerge. Across numerous states, young men, often college students, were found dead in rivers and lakes. Seemingly accidental drownings, the authorities concluded. But a retired New York detective, Kevin Gannon, noticed a disturbing trend. These were not isolated incidents, he argued. The sheer number of cases spread across different jurisdictions was too statistically improbable to be mere coincidence. And then there were the symbols. Gannon, along with Dr. Lee Gilbertson, a criminal justice professor, observed that in many of these cases a curious symbol appeared near the sites where the bodies were recovered. A smiley face, sometimes drawn in graffiti, other times appearing as an object placed deliberately. Was this a calling card? A macabre joke from a depraved mind, or perhaps a group of individuals operating under a chillingly simple moniker, the Smiley Face Killers? The Smiley Face Killers theory, controversial from the outset, proposed a chilling narrative. Gannon and Gilbertson believed that a loosely organized network of killers, perhaps using the internet to communicate and coordinate, was targeting young men across the country. Their victims, often intoxicated and alone after a night out, were abducted, murdered, and their bodies disposed of in waterways to mimic accidental drownings. The smiley faces, they argued, were a way for these killers to mark their work, to taunt the authorities, and to revel in their grim game. The theory, while lacking concrete evidence to link the cases definitively, resonated with a public already primed by stories of serial killers and hidden networks of evil. The idea that such a sinister force could be operating in plain sight, preying on vulnerable young men, struck a chord of primal fear. Despite skepticism from law enforcement agencies who continued to rule most of the deaths as accidental, the smiley face killer's theory gained traction, fueled by books, documentaries, and the tireless advocacy of the victims' families, desperate for answers and justice. The smiley face killer's theory, while captivating in its horror, has faced significant scrutiny and skepticism. Many law enforcement officials and forensic experts have publicly dismissed it, citing a lack of direct evidence linking the cases and the absence of a consistent modus operandi. The drownings, they argue, are tragic, but not uncommon, particularly among young men who are more likely to engage in risky behavior, especially when under the influence of alcohol. The smiley face symbols, they contend, are common graffiti, and their presence near some of the death sites is purely coincidental. Furthermore, critics of the theory point to the vast geographical distances between some of the cases and the lack of any identifiable communication or coordination between the supposed killers. The idea of a nationwide network of murderers operating with such impunity, they argue, stretches the bounds of credibility. Despite these criticisms, Gannon and Gilbertson remain steadfast in their belief that something more sinister is afoot, that the official explanations are too simple, too convenient to account for the sheer number of deaths and the chilling presence of the smiley face symbol. The smiley face killer's theory remains a subject of intense debate and speculation. While law enforcement agencies continue to investigate individual cases, there has been no official acknowledgement of a connection between them, and the vast majority of the deaths remain classified as accidental drownings. The families of the victims, however, find little solace in these pronouncements. Haunted by unanswered questions, they cling to the hope that one day the truth will emerge from the murky depths, that those responsible for their loved ones' deaths will be brought to justice. The smiley face killer's theory, regardless of its veracity, serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of youth, the enduring power of fear, and the enduring mysteries that continue to haunt the human psyche. It is a tale whispered in hushed tones, a chilling reminder that some stories, even if never fully proven, have a way of lingering in the shadows of our collective consciousness. Whether the product of a depraved criminal network or a series of tragic coincidences, the deaths of these young men serve as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring search for answers in a world often shrouded in darkness. Deep in the Bavarian countryside, nestled amongst rolling hills and whispering forests, stood the Hinterkaifeck farmstead. A place seemingly untouched by the troubles of the world, it was home to a family of 6. Andreas Gruber, the patriarch, ran the farm with his wife Casilia. Their widowed daughter Victoria lived with them, along with her 2 young children, Casilia and Joseph, and the family maid, Maria Baumgartner. Life on Hinterkaifeck, however, was about to take a sinister turn. Several weeks before the tragedy, Andreas Gruber confided in neighbours about a series of unsettling events. He spoke of unexplained footprints in the snow leading to the house, but none leading away. He mentioned hearing footsteps in the attic and finding a strange newspaper that no one claimed to have bought. These occurrences, though unsettling, were but a prelude to the horror that would soon befall the Gruber family. A storm was brewing, not in the skies above the farmstead, but in the very air the family breathed. An unseen malice was closing in, its presence felt in every shadow, every creak of the floorboards. On the evening of March 31st, 1922, an unspeakable act shattered the tranquility of Hinterkaifeck. One by one, each member of the Gruber family, along with their maid, was lured to their deaths. The killer, or killers, used a mattock, a farming tool with a long wooden handle and a sharp, heavy head, to carry out the brutal murders. Little Joseph was attacked in his bed, his innocent life extinguished before it had truly begun. His mother, Victoria, met a similar fate, her cries for help silenced by the cold Bavarian night. The elder Casilia, the family matriarch, was likely killed in the kitchen, her last moments filled with unimaginable terror. Andreas, the once strong patriarch, was found lifeless in the barn, his body bearing the brunt of the killer's rage. The new maid, Maria, who had arrived only hours before the massacre, never even had the chance to unpack her belongings. Days later, with the farm unusually silent, neighbours began to worry. A search party made the gruesome discovery, uncovering a scene of unimaginable horror. The Hinterkaifeck murders sent shockwaves through the local community and beyond, becoming a dark stain on the history of the region. Police investigators, faced with a scene of such brutality and lacking any obvious motive or suspects, were baffled. The killer had remained at the farm for several days after the murders, tending to the cattle, eating the family's food, and even winding the clock. Despite a thorough investigation, countless interviews, and numerous theories, the case went cold. The identity of the perpetrator and the motive behind their heinous act remained an enigma, leaving a chilling question mark hanging over the Hinterkaifeck farmstead. The Hinterkaifeck murders continue to fascinate and horrify to this day. The brutality of the crime, the isolation of the farmstead, and the lack of a clear motive all contribute to the enduring mystery. Theories abound, ranging from robbery gone wrong to a crime of passion, but none fully explain the chilling details of the case. Was it a stranger, drawn to the remote farm with sinister intent? Or could it have been someone known to the family, someone harbouring a dark secret and a deadly grudge? The truth, lost to time, remains elusive, leaving us to grapple with the unsettling reality that some mysteries may never be solved. The Hinterkaifeck tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic settings, and the vulnerability of those who fall prey to its sinister embrace. In the quiet suburban town of Westfield, New Jersey, nestled among manicured lawns and charming homes, stands 657 Boulevard. To the Broaders family, it represented the fulfillment of a lifelong dream, a spacious 6-bedroom house where they could build their future. But their dream was about to turn into a waking nightmare, haunted by an unseen presence that seemed to know their every move. Shortly after purchasing the house in 2014, Derek and Maria Broadus began receiving a series of chilling letters. The writer, who identified themselves only as the Watcher, claimed a disturbing connection to the property, referring to it as his family's for decades. The letters were filled with unsettling details about the house, the family, and their plans for the property. The Watcher seemed to know intimate details about their lives, including the names of their children and their nicknames. The letters became increasingly sinister, even threatening the children, referring to them as young blood and questioning their ages. The Watcher's words dripped with a chilling familiarity, as if he had been watching their every move, every renovation, every happy moment shared within the walls of 657 Boulevard. He wrote of the house's need for him, of his family's long history within its walls. "Have they found what is in the walls yet?" one letter read, sending chills down the spines of the terrified family. "Why are you here?" "I will find out." The Watcher's words were like venom, slowly seeping into their lives, poisoning their dreams and turning their haven into a prison of fear. The Broadus family, desperate for answers and terrified for their safety, contacted the police. The investigation, however, proved frustratingly fruitless. Despite their best efforts, the authorities were unable to identify the elusive Watcher. Life in the once charming house became unbearable. Every creak of the floorboard, every rustle of leaves outside the window sent shivers down their spines. The family, once full of hope and excitement for their new home, was now living in a constant state of anxiety and dread. The Broaduses, unable to bear the thought of raising their children in such a terrifying environment, decided to sell the house. But the stigma of the Watcher proved difficult to shake. Potential buyers, upon learning the history of the property, were understandably hesitant. The once dream home, now a symbol of terror and mystery, became a burden, a constant reminder of the unseen stalker lurking in the shadows. Years later, The identity of the Watcher remains a mystery. Was it a disgruntled neighbour, a scorned former resident, or someone with a more sinister motive? The lack of answers only fueled speculation, turning a quiet suburban town into a hotbed of rumour and paranoia. The Broadus family, forever marked by their experience, eventually moved on, but the psychological scars remained. Their story serves as a chilling reminder that even in the seemingly safest of places, darkness can lurk, and sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we can't see. From the chilling mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident to the unsettling enigma of the Watcher, these stories remind us that the world is full of unexplained phenomena and unsettling events that defy logical explanation. What do you think happened in these disturbing cases? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more terrifying stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Sleep well, if you can.